All right. I like that, sorry. Yeah, lots of power. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Thompson-Nicola Regional District Board meeting this afternoon, dated Thursday, November 6th. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First Nations acknowledgement. The TNRD acknowledges that we connect with many First Nation communities across our vast regional district, and today we're located on the Kamloops-Secwepemc territory, situated within the unceded ancestral lands of the Secwepemc Nation. The TNRD appreciates the partnership we have with the Kamloops-Secwepemc and respect the territory and the land on which we gather today. So my only act on this agenda is to start the election of committee for chair and vice chair and get that rolling. And I'd like to get Ms. Jeremiah to talk a little bit about that process and get it underway.
Thank you, Scott. As set out in the Local Government Act and the TNRD Board of Directors Procedure Bylaw, we will now carry out the election of chair for the TNRD Board of Directors. The successful candidate will serve in the position until November 2026 inaugural meeting. Nominations will be called 3 times. As candidates are nominated, they will be asked if they consent to the nomination. Nominations will then be closed. If there is only one consenting candidate, that candidate will be acclaimed as the chair. If there are 2 or more consenting candidates, each candidate will be given 2 minutes to say a few words, if they wish, before the ballots are distributed. I will now call for nominations for the position of chair. First call for nominations for the office of chair. Director Houghton.
It'd be a great deal of pleasure to nominate the Mayor of Ashcroft, Barbara Roden, for the position of chair.
Second.
Director Roden, do you consent to the nomination? Yes. That is a yes. Second call for nominations for the office of chair. And third call for nominations for the office of chair. Okay, I declare the nominations closed. Director Roden is now TNRD chair. Congratulations. Okay, so now that Chair Roden is getting situated, we will now call for the election of vice chair for the TNRD Board of Directors. Once again, the successful candidate will serve in the position until November 2026 at the inaugural meeting. Nominations will be called 3 times. As candidates are nominated, they will be asked if they consent to the nomination. Nominations will then be closed. If there's only one consenting candidate, that candidate will be acclaimed as the vice chair. If there are 2 or more consenting candidates, each candidate will be given 2 minutes to say a few words, if they wish, before the ballots are distributed. I will now call for the nominations for the position of vice chair. First call for nominations for the office of chair. Or vice chair, sorry.
Vice Chair, I wish to nominate Director/Mayor of Logan Lake, Robin Smith, for Vice Chair.
Director Smith, do you consent to the nomination? Okay. We'll now call for second call of nominations for the office of vice chair. And third call for nominations for the office of vice chair. I declare the nominations closed for the office of vice chair. And Director Smith is acclaimed office of vice chair. Congratulations. It was easy.
All right, thank you very much. Very pleased to be serving with Vice Chair Smith again, and thank you to the board for your continued confidence in my abilities to lead us through our 4th and final year. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. So it's my pleasure to give the chair's announcements. The land acknowledgement has been given. Very pleased to honor Chief Noel Johnson after 30 years of dedicated service. We are with pride, recognizing and congratulating Chief Noel Johnson for an amazing 30 years of service to the McClure Fire Department. Noel has led with unwavering commitment, integrity, and compassion as the fire chief of that department. Under his leadership, the department has grown stronger, safer, and more united, which is a true reflection of his dedication to both the community and to the team and to the community that he has served. Noel is preparing to move closer to his family in Alberta, and we extend our deepest gratitude for his decades of service and his mentorship to others in the department. We are also proud to announce that following a thorough and competitive selection process to fill Noel's very large shoes, Wes Hunko has been appointed as the new fire chief of the McClure Fire Department. We are confident that Chief Hunko will continue to build on the strong foundation that Noel established and will lead the department into an exciting new chapter. So congratulations, Chief Johnson, on 30 years of outstanding service, and congratulations, Chief Hunko, on your new leadership role. And it's always nice to have some cards here. So we have a card from the Pritchard 4-H Club signed by a number of the members. It says, the Pritchard 4-H Club would like to thank you so much for being, not me personally, the TNRD, would like to thank you so much for being a valued sponsor of the Provincial Winter Fair in Kamloops. We really appreciate your generosity. The members had so much fun. So that was a thank you. And then a big thank you from the Yellowhead 4-H Club. Your support is greatly appreciated, signed by members of the club. And then this charming, no other word for it, an actual letter that was put in the post with a stamp, address written in pencil, return address, beautiful picture of I'm not sure, I call it a snowball plant. They're the ones that change colors depending on what you put in the soil around them. Hydrangeas? I don't know. Hydrangea? Thank you. Yes, there we go. I surprise myself sometimes. Inside, it says, Dear TNRD, my name is Olivia, and I am a winner of an award you sponsored. There would be no overall reserve champion rabbit showmanship award. Thank you for sponsoring Rabbit Overall Reserve Champion Showmanship. From Olivia, Yellowhead 4-H Club member. So congratulations to Olivia. And congratulations to all the 4-H Club members who took part. It's an incredible organization. They do great things in our communities. So we have upcoming meetings on November 19th. We have policy and governance at 10 a.m. On November 20th, we have the electoral area directors meeting at 9 a.m. And on the 20th, we have a regular board meeting at 1:30. Today in your blue folders, you'll find regular mail and a letter to Minister of Finance Brenda Bailey. Just a word on the ongoing situation on Kamloops Lake with the derailment. All the stakeholders are very closely involved in monitoring that situation. It is, of course, very concerning for our residents. The TNRD is making sure that we are front and center in getting messaging out about the safety of the water. Thank you to Directors Thorpe and Grenier. Thank you to staff at the TNRD for continuing to be on top of this. This is an ongoing situation that we are going to be dealing with for a time to come. So I just wanted to say that we have a great team, we have great communication, and we're just trying to make sure that our partners are giving us the information that we need so that we can reassure our residents. And finally, in the event of an emergency, if the fire alarm sounds, please leave by the safest exit doors, either at the rear of the room or the main entrance on my left. Go down the staircase, exit the building, and assemble in the staff car parking lot at the rear of the Paramount Theatre across 5th. Do not run. Please do not use the elevators. If you have issues with mobility, please advise the corporate officer. All right, we have 2 additions to the agenda. We have new business from Director Onslow and a notice of motion from Director Houghton. Are there any other additions to or deletions from the agenda? Seeing none, could I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended? Director Stankey, Vice Chair Smith, thank you very much. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We have the minutes of the regular board meeting held on October the 23rd. Minutes, Director Hall, seconded by Director Thorpe. Thank you. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Item 7.1, TNRD Park Regulations Amendment Bylaw number 2886. We have 3 recommendations. Who'd like to start us off with number 1?
Move one.
With Vice Chair Smith, seconded by Director Karpuk. Thank you. Any discussion on this? This is to read the Park Regulations Amendment Bylaw for first and second time. Lots of red ink. Anyone have any questions, concerns, comments? No, none online. All right, then, all those in favor? And Director Onslow, we do need to hear you.
In favor.
Perfect, thank you. Anyone opposed? Carried. Recommendation 2.
Move to. Second.
Director O'Reilly, seconded by Director Blackwell. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, if any? That is carried. And recommendation 3. Director Middleton, thank you very much. Seconded by Vice Chair Smith. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That is carried. 8.1.1, 2025 Parcel Tax Roll Review Panel. We need 3 people to serve on this panel. The people who served most recently were Directors Thorpe, Laird, and Morris. If the 3 or any of those 3 are agreeable, we could reappoint them, or if anyone else wants to put up their hand. Is there anyone who would like to serve on this panel? Director Thorpe, thank you very much. Director Morris? Director Laird, not to put you on the spot, but okay. Anyone else wanting to? All right. Then I will move the recommendation that the board appoint Directors Thorpe, Morris, and Laird, or reappoint as members of the Parcel Tax Roll Review Panel for 2025, and that the Parcel Tax Roll Review Panel sit at 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday, December 3rd at the TNRD Civic Building to consider any complaints and authenticate to the amended parcel tax roll for Loon Lake Fire Protection Service area. Thank you, Vice Chair Smith seconds that. Any discussion? Thank you to Directors Thorpe, Laird, and Morris for putting your names forward. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, if any? That is carried. 8.1.2, Regional Grants and Sponsorships. We do have a recommendation regarding 6. Thank you, Director Ranta, seconded by Director Houghton. And Director Hayward is recusing herself because she works for Yellowhead Community Services. Director Blackwell?
Yes, the last one as well. I need to recuse myself on as my spouse runs the program that the grant is being done, and that came up on the agenda quicker than my brain did. So I will step out as well.
All right. Anyone else associated with any of these fine organizations? All right. So we do have a motion on the floor. Any questions or discussion? No? And just for clarification, the other groups that did apply that were not successful, are they able to approach staff and say, where did we fall short in our application? How could we do better in future?
Through the board, we reach out to every single applicant that was not successful and offer them the opportunity to have a one-on-one to go through their application and improve it.
And just out of interest, do you get many, some, all responding?
Quite a lot actually take us up on that offer and go through it with us.
Thank you for your assistance in that. Anyone have any questions or comments? On the motion, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That is carried. We'll just wait for Directors Hayward and Blackwell to come back in. All right, we move on to 8.1.3 Fire Underwriters Survey Advocacy. Director Lepso.
Thank you very much. I would like to move the recommendation with the amendment that the TNRD requests that member municipalities also send a similar letter.
Okay, thank you very much. Second, Director Thorpe, thank you. Discussion on this. Director Getz?
Thank you. We're just discussing the amendment.
No, we have passed the
Okay.
the motion as amended.
Okay, so for myself, I've had an issue with fire underwriters for about 10 years. Took this to UBCM about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I'm working with my MLA, Tony Luck, right now to draft a proposal on not having this group represent us any longer. It's become a group that is run out of the States that unilaterally decides when you need a fire engine or an upgrade with the threat of your insurance being canceled. Half the time, as I explained to Director Lepso, when I was underground working, when we had a lot of water down at the 6,000-foot level, we pumped that water out on a thing called a scoop tram, which is a gigantic machine. But if we got more water than we could deal with, we didn't buy a whole brand new machine. We just got a bigger pump. So what we're doing here is we're buying a pump surrounded by a truck, and it's getting expensive for communities to continue to do this. And then we take that truck that still has a lot of life in it, and with Firefighters Without Borders, it ends up going to South America, where it continues to run for the next 10 years. And we get pictures back with them all hanging off of it going, thanks, guys. And the point of the matter is we are looking at a development in Merritt that could be as high as 6 stories. So they immediately tell us that we need a new fire engine. Well, I don't know if anybody's been to New York City, but there isn't a ladder truck that goes up 110 stories. So there's a ways around this. And my tirade here is the fact that this is adding a cost. The fire truck that they want us to now order will take 54 months to show up. So I'm not sure what we do in the meantime. And I'm tired of buying a pump surrounded by a truck where the wheels come from one company, the motor comes from another, the frame comes from another, and none of them are really Canadian companies any longer. So I would appreciate the fact that we send a strongly worded letter and bypass these guys. It's not acceptable just to have one group that decides, and now they're deciding whether we need a new fire hall, and we'll take care of that ourselves. Our fire chiefs are smart enough to know how this works. Thank you for my 2 cents.
Thank you. Director Onslow?
Thank you. I would like to say that our fire department in Blue River is run by an improvement district, and I believe they will likely be writing a letter as well. So for other directors in other areas, if you have improvement districts, they may be interested in knowing that this letter is going and writing their own.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I know that when the village of Ashcroft, when our primary engine aged out in 2015, the replacement cost then, so a decade ago, was $425,000 for a new engine. And the engine that was aging out had, after 25 years of service, fewer than 60,000 kilometers on it. And of course, we know that our firefighters keep those vehicles immaculate. So how many of us ditch our own personal vehicles when they hit 60,000 kilometers? We don't. So I think that any small, not just the TNRD, but I think any of our municipalities that feel able to do this, we're all in exactly the same position. So certainly I think we should be supporting this and trying to get changes made. Yes, Director Karpuk.
Thank you, Chair. I'm wondering if there's also merit to reaching out to federal officials on this, because it seems like this is more of a national issue as well. It's not just something that we experience here. BC is not unique, but if the issue comes down to that this is an insurance thing, that it's nationally recognized, that perhaps our national elected officials should be the ones that also recognize that there is some hardship being placed on communities across the country by having an American organization dictate whether insurance is actually valid or not. I just throw that out there. That might be worth adding them to the list of people receiving this, not just our provincial minister.
Director O'Toole.
Thank you, Chair. Just to kind of follow up on Director Getz's comments. So we just did our roll-in on Tuesday night of our newest member of our fleet for the Sun Peaks Fire and Rescue. And that truck is already 10 years old. So we bought it, and from a US through the canoe procurement process. And after all said and done and landed here, a 10-year-old truck, and it was over $600,000. And when we priced the same truck out new, it was 1.5 million. So we're in the same boat as all of them. There needs to find a way to create a structure around small communities that don't heavily use their vehicles. So the truck that this replaced, we didn't get rid of. So we've actually kept it and we've reassigned it and re-equipped it, and we'll be making it available to BC Wildfire in the summertime to try and generate income when wildfire seasons are high, to put money back into the department, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with the truck other than the fact that it doesn't qualify for insurance purposes anymore. It has very limited hours on it. And the new truck's beautiful, but honestly, I would have rather have taken that $600,000 and spent it somewhere else.
Any other questions or comments? On the motion then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That is carried. All right, we move on to committees. We do have a couple of revisions to the recommendations from the Regional Solid Waste Management Committee. We have a recommendation. It originally said unit for those who hadn't been at the regional or the solid waste committee meeting. The units are mattresses. So this is what what was touched on yesterday, that we have not been charging residents for taking mattresses to landfills or to eco depots in anticipation that they would be included in a provincial program. The province has said, no, that's not happening. So the proposal is that we now start charging for these units, which are mattresses. So Director Houghton moves that. Thank you very much. Seconded by Director Smith and Corporate Officer Jeremiah.
Could we just have you read out the motion just for the members of the public that are online? I may not have the
Certainly.
agenda.
So the motion that is on the floor that has been moved and seconded is that the board directs staff to increase residential user fees for mattress recycling to $20 per mattress, and that the board directs staff to increase commercial user fees for mattress recycling to $35 per mattress, and that the board directs staff to bring an amended solid waste management facilities bylaw for consideration at a future meeting. Director Grenier.
My apologies, sorry, Chair. There was just something, problem with the electoral area directors minutes 9.1, item 3 has no directors listed. It's blank.
Okay, so we just need to make a correction to the minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So on the recommendation, Director Getz.
This might be to Mr. Vieira. I've heard that mattresses are the hardest thing to get rid of at a dump site. Is this correct? And what is the process for actually getting rid of a mattress, considering it's cloth and metal? And I'm just curious.
Yeah, thanks through the chair. They're difficult to recycle. So the Solid Waste Committee report that the committee reviewed, we told them the average cost to handle a mattress is $45 to the TNRD. That's including transportation and the recycling fee. So the way our system works is there's a recycling outfit based in Hope, where all the mattresses from TNRD are trucked, and they're actually taken apart by hand. And then the metal is recycled, the fabric's recycled, the wood's recycled, but it's a very labor intensive process, which is why it's so expensive. Plus transporting them to Hope is also not cheap.
Any other questions or comments on this? All right, on the question then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That is carried. Then we have a second recommendation, which has been revised for clarity. Director Houghton, thank you. Seconded by Director Sarai. That is that the board maintains status quo with no, hello?
We just, for a second.
Some of the director.
Oh,
Madam Chair, I think I'm going to declare a conflict as the city of Kamloops also operates a landfill. I declare the same.
me too.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise.
I'm out too.
Now we can talk.
So we had that moved by Director Houghton, seconded by Director Thorpe. Thank you. All right, so this is that the board maintains status quo with no public procurement process initiated at this time for the transportation and disposal of TNRD municipal solid waste to Kamloops area destination landfill. Mr. Vieira, do you think you'd be able to give some background for those of us not on the solid waste committee?
Yes, through the chair. So, yeah, we had an extensive presentation and discussion on this at the last committee. If I could summarize, we're in a situation now in the Kamloops region where there are two competing commercial landfills. We take all the waste from the North and South Thompson TNRD facilities and transport it to a landfill that we do not operate, and it has been the Mission Flats landfill. Up until recently, the Sweatsum landfill has come in with lower disposal fees, as well as its lower transportation costs from our contractor to go to that facility. So the decision or the recommendation from the Solid Waste Committee, the information they considered was the two options. One being we go to a public procurement process for the landfill disposal facilities, or we continue with a status quo where we're essentially just a commercial customer like any other commercial customer and continue to go to whatever facility offers us the better overall value. And that's the recommendation that the committee is recommending.
Thank you. Discussion, Director Houghton, Director Sal.
I think this is the best way to go because I believe we have to keep our cards open to whichever landfill or whichever disposal site makes the most sense at the time. You know, one may have some difficulties and we can go to the other one. I think we better keep the door open and keep the relationship open with both. And if there's more out there with others, and I think it's fair, and that way the staff can make their decisions on where the product should go. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Sal.
Thank you, and perhaps Mr. Vieira. So we're not talking about any contracts here that binds us. Would there be, if we do go through a procurement process, are we looking for a contract from a supplier for better rates over a time period? Thank you.
Yeah, through the chair, that's exactly correct. One of the options the committee considered was doing procurement that would enter into a longer term contract that would commit to using one facility in the anticipation that would offer better value. Or the other option is continue with sticking with the open market as a commercial customer, that we go wherever offers the best current value that day, month, et cetera.
Thank you. And supplemental to that, and the information was presented to the committee, staff's recommendation or likelihood of finding a better deal through procurement, was that presented to the committee?
Through the chair, the committee was presented with discussion, pros and cons on both. Staff did not make a recommendation. Staff presented the two options to the committee, and they made a recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? On the motion then, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? Director Onslow? Yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. That is carried. They've all gone. They all went for coffee.
I heard that. So many of them.
All right, we have one item of correspondence for information from Fortis BC Energy Inc. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the letter? Move on to new business. Director Onslow, I believe you have an item of new business.
Yes, I do. So I will read out the resolution request, and then I'd like to speak to that if possible. So it's that the board support the letter from Director Onslow, Electoral Area B, addressed to the Honorable Brenda Bailey, Minister of Finance, expressing concerns regarding the potential impacts of the proposed pipeline property tax devaluation on the communities of Blue River and Avola, and request that the Ministry of Finance reject the valuation proposal put forward by BC Assessment.
Thank you. So you're making that recommendation. Who'd like to second that? Director Blackwell? All right, and Director Newstater?
Thank you, Chair. Just want to add that we really appreciated Mayor Blackwell's letter that went out as well to speaking to the similar issue, and that we did pass a resolution in Kamloops Council that we also send a strongly worded letter to the same end.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you for the letter, Director Onslow. I think very good, very strong, very forthright. And thank you for bringing it before the board. Director Blackwell?
Go ahead, Director Onslow. You
Okay.
actually want to speak to this? Sorry.
Yeah, just one thing to mention. So I do know that I'm quite certain this is going to end up being sent, and it's not 100% in the advocacy framework of the TNRD to send letters immediately, et cetera. But the reason is this is such a paramount issue for all of the TNRD, but it is directly impacting, as all of us know, the taxpayers and the federal Crown Corporation is the one that's getting the break on the backs of the taxpayers. And I'm really hoping that when the TNRD does their advocacy, that the minister will be meeting with you guys and to really nail down this issue and let them know how critical it is that this does not happen in 2026 or even into the future. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Blackwell.
Yeah, and to echo what Director Onslow is saying, doing the simple math on this is $100 per man, woman, and child in Clearwater in tax breaks to a federal Crown Corporation. And that does not include the impacts of any TNRD tax requisitions on the District of Clearwater. So this is hugely damaging to our ability to supply services for both entities, I would think, going forward from this point. And how we will recover from this, I don't honestly know. So I echo Director Onslow's call for this to be rejected by the Finance Minister.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We have asked for a meeting with the Minister of Finance during our advocacy tour. Have we had confirmation of that yet?
Chair Roden, yes, we have, and we will make sure this is in addition to that topic on the agenda as well.
Director Karpak, I saw another hand up. Director Getz.
Thank you, Chair. Just to remind everybody that I think we all heard that this is the first of 2 reviews and that the rail is next, and that we need to be mindful that this may happen again and the impacts could be again magnified as so many of our communities have rail service through them. So I think we need to be not losing our minds on just this, but on both items and one yet to be reviewed.
Thank you. And Director Getz.
Thank you. So we're all aware that MLA Millibar is moving some of this forward as well. Had a meeting with my MLA and we're moving forward, but I'm also having meetings with a lot of the, being a rural director or a municipal director, this will affect my community, but I don't think a lot of the landowners around us realize what's happening. So I have meetings scheduled with some of the larger landowners this week to bring them up to date on this. I think they're going to be in for a bit of a surprise. So we'll continue to work on that end of it here. So I would suggest that maybe in your communities, you reach out to landowners that are maybe not aware of this happening, because I don't think a lot of them are aware of it.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? On the recommendation then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That is carried. And we have a notice of motion from Director Houghton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just explain this motion before I read it. A number of years ago, the TNRD offered all municipalities to opt in to our noxious weed program, and there's a few of us here on the noxious weed committee that sit on it, and it's a very valuable tool within our region. Some of the municipalities opted in, some did not. One of them being the city of Kamloops. And where this kind of all started, one day I asked Director Sarai to come and watch the filming of a Volvo commercial with the Film Commission up just above where I live on Rose Hill Road. And I explained to Bill, I said, that side of the road is City of Kamloops. This is TNRD over here, and what splits it is the Rose Hill Road. I said, it's all Delu country land or somebody's land. And I says, this is how this country was basically amalgamated back in 1972 by the NDP government. I said, none of us had a stake in it, but this is how the City of Kamloops has a lot of rural holdings within its boundaries. And I would like them to have a relook at opting into the noxious weed program so they have the opportunity to take part in the cost share program that's available to our other residents. In fact, Operations Manager Vieira said yesterday, I believe it was to the tune of $104,000 was in our budget meeting was given back to the participants. And I would like, because weeds don't stop at boundaries, and within the boundaries of those, there's a lot of weeds that could be controlled, and I'd like to see the landholders involved in it in the City Council. I'll read the notice of motion. The TNRD invasive plant program was historically funded solely by the 10 electoral areas. In 2020, the TNRD provided member municipalities with the option to participate in the program through a proposal sent to all member municipalities. As a result, 5 member municipalities, Clinton, Sun Peaks, Merritt, Clearwater, and Logan Lake, joined the Thompson-Nicola Regional District Invasive Plant Program beginning in 2021. This gave their residents access to funding for the treatment of weeds on private land and supported the regional approach to preventing the weed spread, as weeds don't stop at municipal boundaries. The City of Kamloops has many rural properties within their own boundaries that either have or are threatened by an infestation of invasive plants. Properties within the City of Kamloops are not eligible for funding assistance through the TNRD invasive plant program, as they don't participate in the service. This includes the properties in Knutsford, Barnhart Vale, Dallas, Iron Mask, Heffley Creek, and West Side Road. Therefore, my notice of motion is that the Thompson-Nicola Regional District Board requests the City of Kamloops to reconsider opting into the Thompson-Nicola Regional District invasive plant service. Thank you.
Thank you. And a print copy of this will be circulated. Corporate Officer Jeremiah.
Staff will email a copy out to everybody as well, and it'll be included in the blue folders at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other new business? Any new notices of motion? No? Director Karpak.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to follow up. Last week, I believe it was, I had the opportunity to, with the grace of the board, step out and meet with the minister, sorry, let me get this right, Wade Grant, MP from Lower Mainland, Vancouver Quadra, who is also the Parliamentary Secretary to the Environment. He was actually here in Kamloops up at our Fraser Basin and Shuswap Watershed office up on McGill. And he and his executive assistant met with a number of our board members from the Shuswap Watershed Council and the Fraser Basin to go over some of the concerns and get a better understanding of our concerns as they relate to everything from whirling fish to our quagga and zebra mussel concerns, our water safety concerns throughout the whole of the Fraser Basin and Shuswap Watershed area that we exist. From his demeanor and that I got via Zoom and what I heard from some staff in the room, he was more than impressed with the meager paltry crumbs that we get from the federal government in the way of grants and how far we can make that go. And as we had a presentation from one of our MPs, Mr. Caputo, here at the City of Kamloops earlier this year, and his petitioning to see equitable funding for the environment concerns that we address here through our different boards. He would be that voice in Ottawa, and given that he is on the side of the current sitting government, we're hopeful that he has a voice that resonates in the room, and we will see some more equitable funding when we apply for those grants. So a very productive meeting. Lasted longer than I think the meeting did in here, but grateful for the time and grace of stepping out here on the board. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other new business? All right, question period. All right, we have need of a closed meeting, so I'm going to move that the meeting be closed under Community Charter Section 91C, Labor Relations or Other Employer Relations. Seconded by Director Bass. Thank you very much. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. We'll just adjourn for 5 minutes. Director Onslow, someone will tell you how to log into the closed meeting.